Kaiju number 8, episode 6. The new recruits go on their first real mission. Everyone is ready to neutralize some kaiju. They're focused and in the zone. Well, everyone except Kafka. He's so nervous, he's on the verge of throwing up. But he has good reason to be nervous. They're about to go up against a giant Hanju and a horde of Yoju. To make things worse, the Hanju is in its breeding phase, so it's able to continuously create more Yoju. I'd be nervous too if this was my first mission. Kafka and the other rookies get to the neutralization area. Vice Captain Hoshina briefed them on the operation. Mina's unit will handle the giant Hanju, and the rookie's job is to make sure none of the Yoju escape the neutralization area. How good of a job they do will determine how much damage is dealt, how much it will cost to rebuild that damage, and how long rebuilding will take. Since they're a platoon of new recruits, they're placed in the very rear and are the last line of defense. They all get fired up, hyping each other up, and Kikuru looks ashamed to be in the same platoon as them. They all jump off the roof ready to engage in battle, while Mr. 1% takes his time safely crawling down the side of the building. But on the ground, Kafka is feeling himself and can feel the suit helping him. He unleashes his combat power and is quickly slapped to the side by a Yoju. 1% unleashed combat power is nowhere near enough to go head to head with any kind of kaiju. The veterans are clearly annoyed. They have to babysit a bunch of new recruits. They plan on showing them how it's done. But Kikuru actually shows the veterans how it's done. She easily takes out all the Yoju by herself. Most Defense Force officers plateau at around 20 to 30% unleashed combat power. Kikuru is already above 50%. She's at the top of the heap. But all of the new recruits this year are doing exceptionally well, and they're looking more like seasoned vets than new recruits. Ichikawa is constantly getting better. He took a Yoju down all by himself. He switched the burst rounds in his gun out for freeze rounds. They fit his style a lot better. His goal is to get strong enough where Kafka doesn't have to transform anymore. Oi and Haruichi are comfortable enough to worry about their kill counts rather than just surviving. And it looks like the platoon leader Nakanoshima has a little crush on both of them. They're all defeating the Yoju quite easily without suffering any casualties. The kill reports start flooding in even though the mission just started. Kafka's glad his comrades are doing so well, but he's eager to prove himself as well. He's no good on the front line fighting kaiju head on, but he has a set of skills that's just as valuable as good fighters. His knowledge of kaiju is unparalleled. No one was able to find the weak spots of the Yoju. After dismantling the body himself, he not only found the core, but he also discovered they have reproductive organs, so a new Yoju could spawn from the dead body of another one. The core and the reproductive organs will both need to be destroyed for the Yoju to be considered neutralized. Vice Captain Hoshina let him know excellent job on his findings, and with that he felt one step closer to being by Mina's side. The second the Hanju reached the designated combat initiation point, they started lighting it up. The JSDF ground and air forces withdrew, and the Defense Force started attacking the Hanju's legs to keep it pinned down. And then we finally get to see what all the fuss is about when it comes to Mina. Once she locked on the target and was clear to fire, she thought of Kafka telling her when they were kids, let's see who become the cooler Defense Force officer. So she showed him exactly how much she grew and how cool she was. First off, she's able to unleash 96% of her combat power, and in this state, she has green lightning crackling around her that's very similar to the blue lightning that crackles around Kafka when he's in his kaiju form. With one shot, not only did she blow a hole right through the Hanju, she also exposed its core. Her long-range gun destructive power is insane. Her second round took the kaiju's head clean off. It collapsed and its vital signs disappeared. Her third round put the nail in the coffin and completely neutralized the Hanju. But even though it was over, she hit it with one more round just to show off a little bit more since Kafka was watching. Vice Captain Hoshina explained to Kafka that him and Mina make a perfect team. He isn't good with long-range guns or taking out the big kaiju how she is, but taking out small to mid-sized kaiju is his specialty. So she take out the big ones, he takes out the mid-sized and small ones, and together they cover all fronts. And when you make it to the rank of captain and vice captain, you're given special equipment perfectly tailored to your fighting style. The corpse of the Hanju was still able to create Yoju, so taking all of them out was pretty much a mission within a mission, and it was a lot of them. It was pretty much an army of Yoju. Furuhashi was beating himself up because he spent 5 years training every day in technical college but wasn't able to keep up with Ichikawa. They came across a monster sweeper and let him know the cleanup crew wasn't needed until later, but oddly enough, this monster sweeper began to talk to himself about how on earth did they figure out the reproductive organs he loaded them with. He was in disbelief that someone was so knowledgeable about kaiju bodies. He was a kaiju that had the ability to transform into a human. So next episode, not only will they have to eliminate an army of Yoju, but they'll also have to fight this kaiju that's stronger than the Hanju they just defeated and might even be stronger than Kafka when he's in his kaiju form. Having to deal with all this on their very first mission is pretty crazy. This was an incredible episode and I can't wait to see the next one. Let me know your thoughts below, like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.